Do you know what, lads? There's a serious lack of good, honest, cheap motoring, especially here in Ireland. This little baby is 17 grand. There's €300 worth of optional extras to bring it just over the 18 mark because of the paint, which I think you'd agree looks absolutely gorgeous. This is the revised Suzuki Swift for 2021. It's got gorgeous alloy wheels. You can get a two-tone roof if you like. There's 4 trim specs, including all-wheel drive. And if this was your first ever car, wouldn't you love it? I mean, there's a couple of things. They're going to annoy kids because they're high up for handles. Yes, there's actual windy down windows in the back, but there's loads of room for legs and feet in the back of it. You'll fit 2 child seats with more space for their legs than something like a Peugeot 208. And then around the back, it's a very cute looking car, as it is from all angles. Front, back, side. We've got big square, really nice colour red. Maybe just it's extra sharp with the colours, I don't know. We've got a hybrid badge down here because it is a mild hybrid, which will do almost 60 miles per gallon if you're watching this in the UK. The boot release is down here, a little bit of a strange place. 265 litre boot, not massive by anyone's proportions, no matter how much you try to convince yourself that's just a small boot. But it's got a big lip, so in one hand it's hard to lift things out, but in another hand it's kind of deep. There's no spare wheel down there, I'm afraid. But it's a small city car boot. What more can I say? And it's light. In fact, the whole car weighs less than a ton. Like a lot of Suzukis, climbing on board is like jumping into 1996. You've got manual aircon, an actual clunky button for recirculating the air inside. I like the steering wheel. It's got all the functions you want on it, including access to your phone, so you can answer here. You've got your speed limit, your radar guided cruise control for just over 18 grand. Like, that's, you don't even get that as standard on most Audis. The screen is easy to use. It's touch screen, and you can sync up your CarPlay. You can use your nav if you plug in the cable. You've got manual air conditioning with a button. That doesn't seem to affect the fuel economy. Everything is clean and very wipeable and simplistic, but I kind of like that. And there's even a handbrake, so there's lots of old school touches. A manual 5-speed gearbox. That does cause some problems if you're on motorways, and I'll explain more when we're driving in a second. The seats, yeah, they're kind of flimsy. They don't feel like they might last 300,000 kilometres, but they'll do. The storage for a phone down here, a 12 volt, 120 watt power point and 1 USB in the entire car. But you know what? It's so quirky. I love the dials. They're easy to read. There's nothing that's fuss about this car. And they're not claiming it to be, but actually some of the standard spec for the price is quite unbelievable. We don't have 6 gears. We don't have a whole load of brake horsepower, but we do have a bit of mild hybrid technology. The steering wheel feels good in the hand. The visibility is really, really good all round. And it's kind of planted low down on the road, so you feel like you're driving something that is at least attempting to be a little bit of fun. The steering, there's not an awful lot of feedback going on. It's quite dull. I mean, I'm really kind of shaking the car from side to side, not having any major impact in the direction of the car. Okay, I'm being a little bit unfair there. The suspension is nice and comfortable. It's not too thumpy for Irish roads. I think in general, for the price, it's really quite alright. Oh, and the mild hybrid technology means if you're driving this car on a motorway, even at 120, whatever the motorway speed limit is, it's doing 5 litres per 100 kilometres all day long. For a petrol engine, that's pretty good. On those motorways, yes, it gets a little bit noisier than is probably necessary because of the lack of that extra gear. But if you're driving around town, you're not going to notice it because the traffic in Dublin, at least anyway, you're always stopping and starting, and it's hard to get into 6th gear. There is an automatic gearbox available though if you want to spend the extra money. That might be a factor, but I like the manual. It's revvy, it's not sloppy at all, it's nice and direct, little short throw on the shifts on it, it's fine. Now, you do also know at times that you're driving something a little bit rough and ready, you know. It doesn't sound like the most refined car in the world. But again, I have to keep saying, for the price, what are you looking for? And actually, the steering is nice and light, so if you are driving around town, trying to park in city centre car parks, changing lanes lots of times, and just, you know, in tighter driving environments, it really is the perfect car for that, just due to its sheer size or lack of it. Also, how easy it is to drive. I mean, this is the perfect first car. And if this is your first car, you're getting a brand new Swift, you're doing pretty well. A lot of us didn't start quite at that. And I think in this colour, it looks pretty smart too. So for a no fuss, easy to drive, easy to get around, really cheap to run and very efficient, I don't know if there's anything else in the market for the price. I really don't. My message to you, my friends, is quite simple. If you don't have a huge budget and you want the peace of mind of a brand new car, just go ahead and buy this. Yeah, it's got drum brakes, windy up windows from the 1990s, manual aircon, a big clunky thing for changing the recirculation of the air. But it's actually pretty good looking. And if you get it in this colour with these wheels, I think, do you agree, it looks pretty special? Like, this is well spec'd at just over 18 grand. The car before it starts at 17 something. So, college students, OAPs, anyone with even 2 kids, dare I say it, although, okay, the boot. And then there's also the sport version of this if you really are into them. I mean, this is one of the most underrated cars I've ever reviewed. And I think I love it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. And subscribe, and thanks. Suzuki, who knew?